Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you guys how to make this trendy kaftan bubu with a fitted waist. So I achieved this style using 1.5 yards of crepe fabric because it's not long. So if you want yours to be long just as the one on my thumbnail, you have to make use of about 4 yards of fabric. So this is the armhole point. This is what it looks like. So guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. So let's jump right into the video. So this is the fabric we'll be working with for this tutorial. It's crepe fabric and I have about 1.5 yards. So if you want yours to be as long as the one on my thumbnail, you can make use of 3.5 yards to 4 yards depending on how long you want it to be. But for me, I'll be making the shorter version. So the first thing we want to do now is to fold this fabric into two. So go ahead to fold your fabric into two just as you can see me doing in the video. So as you can see, my fabric is in a fold of two. I have the longer edge and the shorter side. So this is the closed angle of the fabric. So I'll go ahead and measure what I have there. I'll go ahead to measure what I have on the closed angle of my fabric. So I have about 51 inches here. So I'm working with the whole 51 inches. So if you want yours to be wider, just like I said earlier in the video, you need to use about 3.5 to 4 yards of fabric. And then for the length of my dress, I have 30 inches. So I'll be taking out 1 inch at the base for folding and 1 inch at the top for us for folding as well. So I have 28 inches left. So the next thing to do now is to open up the closed angle of this fabric. So go ahead to rip the fabric opened on the closed edge, the closed angle. So this is the longer side of the fabric. So after doing that, the next thing now is to fold the edges of the fabric. So I have two pieces of fabric here now, the front and the back panel. So I'll go ahead to fold in the upper part by 1/2 inch first and 1/2 inch again, and then I'll stitch it all the way down. And then I'll repeat the same thing for the back panel. I'll fold in the edge and stitch it all the way down. So when I'm done doing that, I'll go over to the lower part of my fabric and do the same thing. I'll just finish the edges, and when I'm done, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, after folding in the edges of the fabric, this is what we have. So I did it for the upper part and the lower part as well. So right now I'm going to set the back panel aside while we work on the inner belt. So this inner belt is what is going to give you the fitted look on the waist point. So go ahead to fold your fabric into two, just as you can see me doing in the video. So this is the closed angle of the fabric. That is the closed angle of the fabric. So make sure you fold the fabric into two equally so that you have an accurate measurement for your belt. So right now, take my tape rule and go over to the upper part of my fabric, and then I'll come down by my under bust measurement, which is 13.5 inches for me, and then I'll extend the line this way. So I want about 10 inches between my belt, between the two belts. So because the fabric is in a fold, I will come in by 5 inches on this side. So I'll come in by 5 inches from the closed angle on this side. So go ahead to take 5 inches from the closed angle of the fabric. So if you're working with a bigger sized person, you can take 6 inches, but for me, I'll be working with 5 inches. So I'll flip the fabric to the other side this way, and then I'll come down by my under bust measurement, which is 13.5 inches, and then I'll mark it out. And then I'll take another 5 inches from the closed angle. So at the end of the day, I will have 10 inches between the two belts when I open up the fabric. So I'll just mark the 5 inches there. So when I open up the fabric now, I'm going to have 10 inches between the 2 points. You can see that we have a straight line and I have my 10 inches for the belt. So let's measure what we have on the line. So we have 10 inches. So we're going to have 10 inches between the two belts. So the next thing to do now is to attach our belt to the dress. So for the length of my belt, I have 30 inches here. and I have 2 pieces of it, and for the depth I have 2 inches. I've gone ahead to fold up the edges, as you can see. So I have 2 inches for the wideness of the belt. So next thing to do now is to place the right side of the belt facing the wrong side of your fabric, and then use your pin to hold the belt directly on the 5 inches mark. So make sure the belt is sitting directly on the 5 inches mark, and then secure with your pin. So I'll do the same thing for the other belt. I'll place it this way, and then I'll use my pin to hold it down. So make sure you are doing this directly on your 5 inches mark so that you can have an accurate measurement when you are done. So right now, I'll take it to my sewing machine, and then I will stitch it down on this side directly on the mark I drew, and then I'll stitch the other side down. So by the time I'm done, I'm going to have something that looks like this. So this is going to go around my under bust when I wear my dress to give it the fitted look. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it looks. So after stitching down the belt on the dress, this is what it looks like. So the belt is going to go around your waist inside your dress to give it the fitted look on the waist point. So right now I'm going to place the front panel and the back panel facing each other to mark out the neck width. So I'm going to place them this way, right sides facing each other. I'm going to match it together this way, and then I'm going to further fold it into two. So that means I'll have a fold of 4. So just follow what I'm doing in the video. So fold it into 4 this way, the front and the back panel. So for the wideness of the neckline does not have any width. It's just the wideness will be marking. I'm making use of my shoulder to shoulder measurements. So for me, I have 16 inches, but because the fabric is in a fold, I'm going to mark 16 inches divided by 2, which is 8 inches. From the closed edge, I'm going to take in 8 inches, which is half of 16 inches, and then I'll mark it there. And then I'll use my pin to just secure that point where I marked it. So I'll pick 2 of the fabric, not the whole 4, just 2, and then I would hold it down this way. So I'll go ahead and carefully flip my fabric to the other side, just as you can see me doing in the video. I'll flip it over, and then I'll take the same 8 inches from the closed angle. So I'll mark the same 8 inches so that by the time we open up the fabric, we'll have the 16 inches wideness. And then I'll use my pin to just secure 2 of the fabric again, just as you can see me doing in the video. I'll hold it down. So now when we open up our fabric this way, we are going to have 16 inches between the 2 points, and that is what we want. That is going to be the wideness of the neckline. So depending on what you have for your shoulder to shoulder measurements, that is what you'll be needing for the wideness of the neckline. So right now I'm going to join the 2 fabrics together. So notice that this part you're going to do it on the right side, not on the wrong side. So stitch down the point where you used your pin to hold it on this side, stitch it down, and stitch it down on the other side as well, but do it on the right side, not on the wrong side. So after joining the neckline, this is what it looks like. So just like I said, I stitched it on the right side, not on the wrong side, so that this is going to allow your dress to sit very well on your neck, on your shoulder point. I mean, it's going to sit very well on your shoulder. So this is the neck opening, this is the neckline. So I'm just going to go ahead to measure it and make sure I have my 16 inches there. So you can see that we have the same 16 inches for the neck opening. So the next thing we want to do now is to join the sides of this dress together. So before you join the sides together, you have to determine how much space you want opened at the armhole point. You have to determine that first. But for me, since I'm working with a smaller fabric, I'll be making use of 5 inches. So I'll come down from this from the shoulder point by 5 inches. So you can decide to use 6 inches, 7 inches, depending on how much fabric you want to fall down. So when you wear your top or your dress, it's going to fall down this way on the armhole point. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch that 5 inches mark so that I'll know that that is where I'm stopping. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So if you're working with a bigger fabric, you can make use of 6 inches, 7 inches, and above. So when I'm joining, I'm going to stop at that point so that I'll have this flap on my dress when I wear it. So right now I'll flip it to the wrong side. I'll flip it to the wrong side this way, and then I'll take it to my sewing machine, and then from the point I notched, I would stitch it all the way down to close the edge of my fabric, to close the sides. I'll flip it, I would stitch it all the way down this way. Then I'll leave that 5 inches point opened. I'll leave it opened. I won't stitch that point, but I'll fold it in. I'll fold it in to just finish the edge. I'll fold it in on this side, and then I'll fold it in on the other side. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after stitching the sides together, after closing it up, this is what we have, and this is the 5 inches mark we left opened. So I went ahead to fold it in just like I said. So the next and final thing to do now is to close up this point a little bit. So you can decide to leave your dress this way. You don't have to do anything for that. It's just a matter of choice. So I'm going to come in here now by 5 inches, so that by the time my fabric falls this way, it's going to be more stable. So it won't be closing and opening up by itself. So I'll mark 5 inches from that point, and then I'll stitch it down. I'll just stitch it down there and stop here. So when I wear my dress, it's going to fall down this way. It's going to be more stable, but you can decide to leave it without stitching. It's your choice. So it's going to look like this when I wear my dress, because I have stitched it down on the fabric. I've stitched down the fabric. So I'll repeat the same thing for the other side of the dress, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after closing it up, this is what it looks like. So by the time I wear my dress, it's going to come out this way on the sleeve area, and then I'll have the cowl effect on the sides. So notice as this part is optional, you can decide to leave yours open depending on how you want it. So this is what it looks like. So if you want your dress to be as long as the one on the thumbnail, you'll be needing about 4 yards of fabric to achieve it. So this is what we'll be ending this video for today. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.